So this is going to be the second longest section of the entire video. So for a lot of these characters, I'm mostly just going to go through their personalities, as I won't really talk about their voice actors unless there's something interesting or that I recognize from their other voice roles. So let's start with our lead heroine, Ladybug, or Marinette Dupen Chang, played by the lovely Christina V. Now, my fellow hardcore Ranger fans will instantly recognize her from Power Rangers Hyperforce as the Black Ranger Vesper. But some of you may also recognize her as Robin Hill from Ruby and Sailor Mars from the Viz dub of Sailor Moon. Now, one of the things I loved when first watching the show was the weird love triangle between her and Adrien. However, as the series went on, I began having a love-hate relationship with this running joke, as it's cute for a weekly watch, but very annoying during a binge watch. And I also enjoy the classic superhero voice actor trope, where Christina alters her voice ever so slightly to make Marinette and Ladybug sound like different people. And her powers are so, well, miraculous with how they're used. Her first special power is her
Lucky Charm!
where her magical yo-yo gives her a special weapon to defeat the villain, usually being a hilariously random item that requires a rather complicated plan to use. And her second power is the
Miraculous Ladybug!
where she throws her Lucky Charm into the air, with any and all damage done to the city reversed by magical ladybugs. Additionally, when she becomes the new guardian of the Miraculous, it's such a good little twist because we don't see much of her training from Master Fu, so we don't know how much she knows about the Miracle Box. And that's evident in the first episode of Season 4. But she learns more as the season goes on, and her magical charm power is very interesting and, initially, gives her and Cat Noir a leg up over their nemesis, Shadow Moth. And I love Marinette's big heart, and it's that quality about her that I find so fitting for her voice actress. And it's always fun to watch her banter with Cat Noir, with how many times she and Cat Noir almost kiss. And it's quite interesting that her story is so in-depth about her life, more than any other character. However, I do have an interesting perspective on this. Now, I will admit I'm not a big fan of the whole superhero girl genre, but I will watch some episodes to see what they're about, and this show is one I really enjoyed, as I'm constantly sucked into Marinette's challenges in each episode. Plus, it's kind of funny how Marinette always says her sentences in the weirdest way when talking to Adrien throughout the series. Reminds me when I was in high school. But during Season 5, she gets to having a conversation of sorts with Adrien, and the two start to become a full-on couple. After so long, it feels so nice to see them together. And their relationship is adorable to watch. On that note, Ladybug's partner is Cat Noir, or Adrien Agreste, played by Bryce Papenbrook. Now, like Christina, Bryce also has a connection to Power Rangers. While he was only in the Power Rangers Megaforce video game, he's actually the son of the late Bob Papenbrook, who played fan favorites Rito and Deviant. Now for his characters, Adrien is a kind-hearted and bold spirit who just wants to make friends and be free from his isolated life. And he's so different as Cat Noir, who is always up to joke around and is always flirting with Ladybug. Seriously, his constant use of flirty names is just hilarious, with his constant Bugaboo and Ladybug names. Especially this one scene from Season 4, after Ladybug becomes the new guardian of the Miraculous, which always makes me laugh.
Bugaboo!
Plus, there's also his special power called
Cataclysm!
where he can destroy anything, which comes in handy quite often when he and Ladybug are in battle with the week's villain. And I also enjoy his look in one episode as Catwalker, where he leaves his Cat Noir life behind and becomes a new hero with Plague. But ultimately has to go back to being fun old Cat Noir, as Ladybug was unable to focus with his new hero moniker. And his time as Cat Noir, I feel, is more honest to his true self. While Plague even says that he's both Adrien and Cat Noir, I do firmly believe that, as Cat Noir, that's when Adrien has the most freedom to be who he is. And it feels more like how Bryce's voice sounds. And the relationship between Adrien and Plague is so hilarious to watch, with Plague never wanting to go superheroine and just wanting to eat camembert cheese. I do also have to comment on how hilarious it is that he flirts with literally every single girl on the Miraculous team at some point. However, since we've already talked a lot about these two characters, I need to point out they both fall under the Robin curse, where the mask just hides their eyes and doesn't really do anything. However, you could argue that this is done with magic, so it would disguise them more when they transform, and this is just to keep the audience in the know on who's who. But I still had to mention it.
I was just getting used to having two ladybugs around.
And now you're gonna get used to no ladybugs around. Gotta split before I change back.
She'll fall for me someday. It's just a matter of time.
And as we continue to the side characters, let's first talk about the heroes of the first two seasons. Starting with Alya Cesaire, played by Carrie Keranen. Alya is Marinette's best friend and the biggest fan of Ladybug, being the creator of the in-universe Ladyblog. Now, her main superhero moniker is Rena Rouge, and it was interesting that she was the first person that Ladybug entrusted a Miraculous to. And we see the evolution of their friendship, with Marinette telling Alya the truth in Season 4, which helps get a load off Marinette's chest. With this extra help, Alya is also able to help Marinette give excuses and creating distractions. And her alternate form of Rena Furtive is interesting for her as well, being a little more blue and gray in color. However, she's not in many episodes from Season 4 on, but that's more by design from Marinette, keeping more to the shadows in case Shadow Moth appears. And not to mention, her power of
Mirage!
is, well, used enough and yet not. But it's cool whenever it is used, as it creates illusions to fool the villains, and even is able to make vocal illusions, like in Rocketeer. Then there's also her other superhero form of Scarabella, which she took on when Marinette had to leave Paris. And she quickly realized how hard it was to be Ladybug. And it was fun to see her in the red and black suit again in Season 5, though this caused Monarch to nearly get a hold of the Ladybug and Cat Miraculous. However, I do like that we got this as a bit of a send-off, as her Scarabella suit is actually pretty cool. Next up is Alya's boyfriend in the show, Nino Lahiffe, who has two voice actors. Yeah. His first voice actor is a man by the name of Benjamin Diskin. And I did enjoy this voice for Nino, mostly because of the way he says
Dude?
Was perfect and funny. Now, I got no idea why this guy was replaced as Nino, but based on more recent recasts from other animated shows I love, may give me a clue as to why. As let's talk about Nino's other voice actor. This voice was from a guy named Zeno Robinson. Now, I can't say Zeno does a terrible job or anything, as he is a good voice for Nino and gives good comedic timing. But he sounds so much younger than Diskin. In case you're wondering, Zeno took over after season 3. And again, the voice change, especially for a binge watch, makes it sound like he went through puberty backwards.
No way, it's my camera. I won't let that happen, believe me.
Yeah, it was just a little too distracting for me. However, as the series kept going, I grew accustomed to the new voice. And his superhero mantle of carapace is pretty cool with his power of
Shelter!
creating an impenetrable shield to protect the team. Also, I gotta add this. He's got more akumatized identities than any other character in the entire show. Which is interesting, seeing how his negative emotions change with every situation. Following Nino is the final member of the original team of Miraculous holders in the first 2 seasons. Chloe Bourgeois, played by Sela Victor. Now, Chloe herself is, well, cover your ears, kids. She's sort of a or as Mabel would put it,
blocking one-dimensional bleach blonde valley girl stereotype!
Her whole story is, in simple terms, she hates Marinette for crushing on Adrien, as Chloe wants to be with Adrien. She's also very controlling and treats Sabrina like dirt and having her do her homework. Chloe is also very funny when things don't go her way, as she acts like a 5-year-old, always calling for her daddy. I did that a bit too good, didn't I?
Daddy!
Who is the mayor, or threatening to have whoever angered her fired. It's also a true fact stated by even the show itself that Chloe has caused more than half of the akumatized villains that the heroes have faced. And it makes sense for her character too. She doesn't care for anyone besides herself. And after season 3, she becomes enemies with Ladybug and good friends with Shadow Moth, allowing him to reakumatize her whenever he wants. I will also say, I do appreciate the creators for not having her change and become a better person. At least, not in the long run. So many times we see evilish characters in a long-running show become better people just by being around the heroes. Bulk and Skull are a great example. But Chloe stays evil and bitter towards everyone for the entire series, and I respect that. And we finally see her put in her place during the season 5 final arc, when Marinette gives her a piece of her own medicine.
Don't get too cocky, Hawkmoth. I'm gonna sting you where it hurts.
It's only like 10 villains to every one of us. Who wants Hawkmoth? How about we rock, paper, scissors for him?
I got your back.
No, I've got your back.
No, I do.
No, I do.
No, I do.
No, I do.
No.
So, what's the hero's plan, milady?
And now after all that, we gotta talk about the alternate forms for Ladybug and Cat Noir. These two have had multiple other hero identities. Multimouse was Marinette's first alternate identity when Tiki and Plag were taken from Ladybug and Cat Noir. With the mouse power, she's able to multiply. And her outfit is cute. Then there's Lady Noir, who has a transformation sequence and suit that... Well, sorry, I can't say anything without making this too mature for kids or even myself half the time. Let's just say a little astronomer for me. However, I can talk about Adrien's alternate forms a lot easier. The first of which is Mr. Bug, which, I'll be honest, looks like he's about to try out for the high school football team. And it gave us a fun episode where he and Ladybug had to swap roles. And then there's his other form of Aspic, which has a pretty neat design to it. Though that's about all I can say, it's only used for like 10 minutes. Not to mention, the two also have many unified forms, where they combine the powers of 2 or more Kwamis. One of my personal favorite among their combos are Multi-Noir and Snake Noir. Though I will say, Adrien became aspic in the middle of Season 3, and Snake Noir appeared in the Season 3 finale. Hey, do you notice anything similar between Adrien as a superhero and the mysterious Cat Noir with the snake Miraculous Ladybug? A little too convenient, don't you think? But we do get a very unique and amazing unified look in the Season 5 finale, called Bug Noir, where Marinette combines both the Ladybug and Black Cat in order to fight their most dangerous villain. Plus, it's a cool combo of both main heroes. And before I continue, let me also talk about Master Wang Fu. Fu is the mentor of the heroes, specifically Ladybug and Cat Noir. Now, we don't see him interact with them very much. However, he's always quick to act when needed, though his age really hampers his skills, as he's revealed to be over 180 years old. But he looks good for his age. However, I do like his look as the Jade Turtle in the Season 3 finale. He also served as the Guardian of the Miraculous before he relinquished his memories and passed on the role of the Guardian to Marinette. And I will admit I got choked up when I first watched this scene, as he doesn't remember anything about the Kwamis, the Miraculous, or even Ladybug and Cat Noir. And we only see him one other time in the entire show as of now, and I can't wait to see if his story gets picked up again from here.
Marinette de Pancheng, you must pick an ally you can trust to fight alongside you on this mission. Once the mission is over, you will take the Miraculous back and return it to me.